Welcome to this video, where we will explore a fascinating and deeply spiritual topic: the 10 signs that, according to Padre Pio, indicate the presence of a demon in your home. This is a subject that might feel unsettling at first, but understanding these signs is not about instilling fear. It's about empowering you with knowledge and faith to protect your space and your loved ones. Padre Pio, a beloved and revered saint in the Catholic Church, dedicated his life to uncovering the mysteries of the spiritual realm. Among his many teachings, his insights into the influence of evil forces remain some of the most profound and eye-opening. We often hear about the comforting presence of guardian angels, the protectors who guide us with love and wisdom. But just as there is light, there is also darkness, a force that seeks to disrupt peace and create chaos. Padre Pio, through his extraordinary spiritual experiences, encountered both realms and left behind invaluable wisdom to help us recognize when something is not right. His guidance reminds us that these manifestations are not coincidences. They are invitations to take action and strengthen our spiritual defenses. In today's video, we will journey through the insights of Padre Pio and examine the subtle and sometimes not so subtle signs that may reveal a darker presence in your home. From sudden changes in the atmosphere to inexplicable phenomena, these signs are often easy to overlook but carry profound implications. Padre Pio taught us that awareness is the first step in combating such forces, and through his teachings, we can learn how to bring light into the darkest of spaces. It is important to approach this topic with an open heart and mind. Many of these signs are rooted in everyday experiences, things that might seem strange but are often dismissed as coincidences or figments of imagination. However, as we'll see, these occurrences may be much more significant than they appear. Padre Pio believed that recognizing these signs was not just about protecting ourselves, but about reaffirming our faith and connection to God. He taught that the presence of evil is ultimately a test, one that we can overcome with courage, prayer, and divine guidance. Throughout this video, we'll delve into 10 specific signs that, according to Padre Pio, could indicate the presence of demonic activity in your home. These signs may manifest in various ways, through physical sensations, emotional disturbances, or even unusual occurrences in your surroundings. As we explore each one, we'll also reflect on Padre Pio's advice for addressing these situations and restoring peace to your home. His teachings serve as a reminder that, no matter how powerful the forces of darkness may seem, the light of God is infinitely stronger. Stay with us until the very end, as we'll not only uncover these signs, but also share practical steps you can take to protect your home and loved ones. Padre Pio's wisdom extends beyond simply identifying the presence of evil. He provides us with tools and spiritual practices that can shield us from harm and invite divine protection into our lives. These steps are rooted in faith and have been passed down through centuries of spiritual tradition, offering hope and reassurance even in the face of adversity. By the end of this video, you'll have a deeper understanding of how to discern these signs and what actions to take if you suspect something is amiss. Remember, the purpose of this discussion is not to create fear, but to empower you. Knowledge, coupled with faith, is a powerful shield against any darkness. Padre Pio's teachings remind us that we are never alone. We are always surrounded by the presence of God's love and protection. So, join us on this journey as we uncover the 10 signs that could indicate a demonic presence in your home. Whether you are familiar with Padre Pio's teachings or hearing about them for the first time, this video will offer you valuable insights and a renewed sense of spiritual awareness. Let us walk together through this enlightening experience, guided by faith and the wisdom of a saint who devoted his life to helping others navigate the spiritual battles we all face. Make sure to watch until the end, as the final steps we'll discuss are crucial for maintaining peace and light in your home. Padre Pio, born Francesco Forgione in Pietrelcina, Italy, was one of the most beloved and enigmatic figures in the history of the Catholic Church. His life was a testament to unwavering faith, deep spiritual connection, and extraordinary encounters with the divine and the demonic. Canonized as a saint in the early 2000s, Padre Pio remains a source of inspiration and fascination for millions around the world. His teachings, rooted in his profound spiritual experiences, have guided countless individuals in understanding the unseen spiritual battles that unfold around us. To truly grasp his insights into the 10 signs of demonic presence, it is essential to delve into his life, his experiences, and his profound wisdom. From an early age, Padre Pio displayed a remarkable inclination toward spirituality. He entered the Capuchin Friars at the age of 15, dedicating his life to prayer, penance, and service. Throughout his life, he experienced extraordinary phenomena that ranged from visions of Christ and the Virgin Mary to encounters with angels and demons. One of the most famous aspects of Padre Pio's life was his stigmata, the appearance of wounds on his hands, feet, and side, mirroring those of Christ during the crucifixion. These wounds were a source of both physical pain and spiritual significance, as Padre Pio viewed them as a gift and a cross to bear in his service to God. Padre Pio's spiritual encounters were not limited to divine visions. He also reported intense battles with demonic forces, describing these experiences in vivid detail. He spoke of physical attacks, terrifying visions, and moments of deep spiritual struggle. These experiences, while harrowing, were for Padre Pio an opportunity to strengthen his faith and trust in God. He often reminded his followers that the presence of evil was not something to fear, but rather to confront with prayer, faith, and the knowledge that God's light was infinitely stronger than any darkness. Through these spiritual battles, Padre Pio developed a profound understanding of the ways in which demonic forces operate. He taught that these entities often manifest subtly, using fear, confusion, and disruption to infiltrate our lives. He emphasized that recognizing these signs was the first step in protecting oneself and one's home from their influence. For Padre Pio, the spiritual realm was not an abstract concept, but a reality that required vigilance, discernment, and a strong connection to God. Padre Pio believed that demonic presence was not confined to grand or dramatic displays, but could manifest in ordinary, everyday occurrences. He often counseled individuals who came to him with stories of strange phenomena, unexplained events, or feelings of unease in their homes. For him, these were not mere coincidences, but potential indicators of spiritual imbalance. Padre Pio encouraged his followers to approach these situations with prayer and faith, seeking God's protection and guidance. He believed that even the smallest sign of spiritual disturbance deserved attention, as it could be a doorway for greater chaos if left unchecked. One of the core teachings of Padre Pio was the importance of maintaining a strong spiritual foundation. He often reminded people that prayer, the sacraments, and a life of virtue were the most powerful tools in combating the influence of evil. He particularly emphasized the rosary as a weapon against darkness, calling it a chain that binds Satan. For Padre Pio, spiritual practices were not just rituals, but a means of aligning oneself with God's will and creating a protective barrier against malevolent forces. Padre Pio's understanding of demonic presence was deeply tied to his view of human vulnerability. He taught that our thoughts, emotions, and actions could open the door to spiritual influences, both positive and negative. Negative emotions such as anger, despair, and envy, he explained, could create an environment where demonic forces thrive. Conversely, cultivating peace, love, and faith could repel these forces and invite divine protection. He often spoke about the importance of self-awareness and spiritual discipline, urging his followers to examine their lives and seek reconciliation with God through confession and prayer. One of the most compelling aspects of Padre Pio's teachings is his emphasis on the role of the home as a spiritual space. He believed that the home was more than just a physical structure. It was a sanctuary where individuals and families could experience God's presence and protection. However, he also warned that the home could become a target for demonic forces seeking to disrupt the harmony and peace within. He advised people to bless their homes regularly, to keep sacred objects such as crucifixes and holy water, and to cultivate a spiritual atmosphere through prayer and acts of kindness. Padre Pio's encounters with demonic forces were not limited to his own experiences. He often shared stories of individuals who came to him seeking help with unexplained phenomena in their homes. These stories ranged from strange noises and sudden changes in atmosphere to more unsettling occurrences, such as objects moving on their own or recurring nightmares. In each case, Padre Pio approached the situation with compassion and faith, offering prayers, blessings, and practical advice to help individuals reclaim their spiritual peace. His guidance often included simple yet powerful steps, such as invoking the name of Jesus, reciting the Rosary, and seeking the intercession of the Virgin Mary. Despite the challenges he faced, Padre Pio always maintained a message of hope. He believed that no matter how strong the forces of darkness might seem, they were powerless in the face of God's light. He often reassured his followers that God allowed these trials as a means of strengthening faith and character. For Padre Pio, the presence of evil was not a cause for despair, but an opportunity to deepen one's relationship with God and to grow spiritually. Padre Pio's teachings continue to resonate with people around the world. His insights into the spiritual realm, drawn from his own experiences, offer a unique perspective on the challenges we face in our daily lives. Whether it is recognizing the subtle signs of spiritual disturbance or embracing the power of prayer and faith, his wisdom serves as a guide for those seeking to navigate the complexities of the spiritual world. Through his life and teachings, Padre Pio reminds us that while darkness may exist, it is always overcome by the light of God's love and protection. His legacy is a testament to the enduring power of faith and the unwavering presence of divine grace in our lives. Throughout history, many spiritual leaders and mystics have spoken of the delicate balance between light and darkness in our world. Padre Pio, with his extraordinary spiritual insight, emphasized the importance of being vigilant in recognizing the signs of malevolent forces. His teachings highlighted how the presence of evil can manifest in subtle ways, often blending into our everyday lives in a manner that may seem innocuous at first glance. These manifestations are not just random occurrences or coincidences, but purposeful disruptions aimed at unsettling the peace of our hearts and our homes. Recognizing these signs is the first step in reclaiming control and seeking divine protection. Padre Pio's deep understanding of spiritual warfare stemmed from his own encounters with both divine and dark forces. He believed that these signs were not meant to invoke fear, but rather to awaken awareness and inspire action. By understanding the nature of these manifestations, we can fortify our spiritual lives and protect the sanctity of our homes. This awareness, coupled with prayer and faith, allows us to confront these forces head-on and reaffirm our connection with God. One of the most striking teachings of Padre Pio was his emphasis on discernment. He often reminded his followers that evil rarely presents itself in obvious ways. Instead, it hides in subtle shifts, waiting for moments of vulnerability to infiltrate our lives. This is why he insisted on the importance of paying attention to the small details, those strange feelings, unusual patterns, or unexplained phenomena that might otherwise be dismissed. These signs, he believed, were warnings from the spiritual realm, urging us to take action and seek guidance from God. In this section, we will explore the 10 signs that Padre Pio identified as indicators of a potential demonic presence. These signs range from sudden emotional disturbances to unexplained physical occurrences, each carrying a deeper spiritual significance. By understanding these signs, we can equip ourselves with the tools to recognize and address them effectively. Each sign is not just a clue to the presence of evil, but also an invitation to strengthen our faith and rely on the power of God to overcome darkness. The first sign that Padre Pio described is a sudden and unexplainable change in energy within a space. This shift is not just a fleeting mood or an ordinary sense of unease, but a profound and palpable heaviness that seems to settle into a room or an entire home. This energy can manifest in a variety of ways, such as heightened tension among family members, feelings of dread or discomfort, or even an oppressive silence that feels unnatural. It is as though the atmosphere itself has been altered, creating a sense of imbalance and unrest. Padre Pio explained that this negative energy often serves as a precursor to more direct manifestations. It is a subtle yet powerful indicator that something is amiss, a disruption in the spiritual harmony of a space. This energy may not always be immediately recognizable, as it can start gradually before intensifying over time. For instance, a once peaceful home may suddenly feel heavy or tense without any apparent reason. Family members may find themselves arguing more frequently, or individuals may experience an overwhelming sense of sadness or anxiety when they are in the affected space. What makes this sign particularly challenging is its subtlety. It can be easy to attribute these feelings to stress, fatigue, or external circumstances, dismissing the possibility of a spiritual cause. However, Padre Pio urged his followers to trust their intuition and pay close attention to these shifts. He taught that our spiritual senses are often more attuned to these disruptions than we realize. By acknowledging these feelings and seeking spiritual clarity through prayer and reflection, we can begin to address the underlying cause and restore peace to our environment. This first sign also highlights the importance of spiritual protection in our daily lives. Padre Pio often recommended simple but powerful practices to combat negative energy, such as blessing the home with holy water, reciting the rosary, and inviting God's presence into every corner of the space. These practices not only help to dispel negative energy, but also create a protective barrier that shields the home from further disruption. As we continue to explore the remaining signs, it is essential to approach this topic with a sense of hope and empowerment. Padre Pio's teachings remind us that while darkness may attempt to intrude, it is no match for the light and love of God. By recognizing these signs and taking proactive steps to address them, we can reclaim the peace and sanctity of our homes. Each sign, no matter how unsettling it may seem, is an opportunity to deepen our faith and reaffirm our trust in God's protection. Padre Pio's wisdom serves as a guiding light, encouraging us to face these challenges with courage and unwavering faith. Among the many signs that Padre Pio described as indicators of a possible demonic presence, one of the most unsettling is the sudden appearance of unpleasant odors without any discernible source. These odors are not ordinary smells that might be explained by natural causes, such as spoiled food or a dirty environment. Instead, they are often described as sharp, acrid, and deeply unsettling, resembling sulfur, decay, or burning substances. These odors appear abruptly and can linger in the air, despite there being no physical explanation for their origin. Padre Pio believed that these odors were more than just sensory experiences. They were spiritual warnings. He taught that such phenomena are often manifestations of malevolent forces attempting to disrupt the peace and sanctity of a space. These smells serve as a signal that something is spiritually out of balance and that action is needed to address it. Unlike the presence of divine fragrances, which are associated with comfort and holiness, these unpleasant smells evoke unease and discomfort, aligning with the disruptive nature of demonic influences. What makes these odors particularly disconcerting is their suddenness and their ability to affect the atmosphere of an entire room or home. They might appear during moments of prayer or reflection, interrupting the sacred act with their foul presence. Alternatively, they could arise without any apparent trigger, catching individuals off guard and leaving them feeling uneasy. Padre Pio explained that these smells are often a way for demonic forces to make their presence known, to instill fear, and to challenge the faith of those who encounter them. Many people who have experienced this phenomenon describe a deep sense of unease accompanying the odors, as if the smell itself carries a tangible weight of negativity. This emotional response is not accidental. It is an intended effect. According to Padre Pio, demonic forces aim to create confusion and doubt, and the appearance of such odors is one method by which they attempt to disrupt spiritual harmony. Padre Pio advised that when confronted with such phenomena, the response should not be one of fear, but of faith. He recommended invoking the name of Jesus, reciting prayers such as the Our Father or the Hail Mary, and using holy water to bless the affected space. These acts of faith serve not only to combat the negative presence, but also to reaffirm the individual's trust in God's protection. He reminded his followers that these manifestations, while unsettling, have no true power over those who remain steadfast in their faith. It is important to note that these odors, while often a sign of a demonic presence, could also serve as a reminder of the constant spiritual battle taking place around us. Padre Pio taught that these experiences are not meant to paralyze us with fear, but to strengthen our resolve and deepen our reliance on God. By addressing these phenomena with courage and spiritual discernment, we can transform moments of discomfort into opportunities for spiritual growth and protection. Dreams have long been regarded as a window into the spiritual realm, a space where the mind is more open and vulnerable to influences beyond the physical world. Padre Pio often spoke about the role of dreams in spiritual warfare, emphasizing that recurring and disturbing nightmares could be a sign of demonic interference. These are not ordinary dreams that fade upon waking, but vivid, emotionally charged experiences that linger, leaving a lasting impression of fear or distress. Such nightmares often involve unsettling imagery, overwhelming emotions, or a sense of being trapped or attacked. Individuals who experience these dreams may wake up feeling drained, anxious, or even physically unwell. Padre Pio explained that these dreams are sometimes used by malevolent forces to weaken a person's spirit, disrupt their peace, and sow seeds of doubt or despair. The repeated nature of these nightmares is significant, as it suggests a targeted attempt to infiltrate the mind and disturb the soul. One of the most troubling aspects of these dreams is their ability to feel real. Many people who experience them report sensations of touch, sound, or even pain that seem to transcend the boundary between the dream world and reality. Padre Pio believed that this intensity was intentional, designed to blur the lines between the physical and spiritual realms and to challenge the individual's sense of safety and faith. He often reassured those who sought his counsel that these experiences, while frightening, were ultimately powerless against the strength of divine protection. Padre Pio emphasized the importance of recognizing these nightmares as spiritual warnings rather than dismissing them as mere psychological disturbances. He taught that such dreams could serve as a call to action, urging individuals to fortify their spiritual defenses through prayer, confession, and the sacraments. He often recommended praying the rosary before bed and inviting God's presence into the sleeping space as a means of safeguarding the mind and soul during the vulnerable hours of rest. For Padre Pio, these nightmares were not only a test of faith, but also an opportunity to deepen one's spiritual connection. He encouraged individuals to reflect on the content of their dreams and to seek spiritual guidance if necessary. By understanding the nature of these experiences and addressing them through prayer and discernment, one could transform fear into strength and uncertainty into trust in God's plan. In addition to prayer, Padre Pio advised the use of sacred objects such as crucifixes or blessed medals to provide spiritual protection during sleep. He also recommended keeping a calm and peaceful environment in the home, free of distractions or influences that might invite negativity. These practices, combined with a strong commitment to faith, could help individuals overcome the unsettling effects of recurring nightmares. Ultimately, Padre Pio's teachings remind us that even in the midst of spiritual disturbances, we are never alone. God's presence is always with us, offering guidance, protection, and peace. By recognizing the signs of demonic interference, such as recurring nightmares, and responding with faith and prayer, we can reclaim our spiritual balance and rest, assured in the knowledge that divine love is stronger than any darkness. These experiences, while challenging, are opportunities to grow closer to God and to strengthen our resolve in the face of adversity. One of the more startling signs that Padre Pio described as indicative of a possible demonic presence is the mysterious movement of objects within a home. This phenomenon, often referred to as poltergeist activity, involves objects shifting from one place to another without any logical explanation. It can be as subtle as finding a book slightly out of place, or as alarming as seeing an object fall or move right before your eyes. These occurrences are designed to unsettle and disturb, creating a sense of unease and confusion in the affected space. Padre Pio emphasized that these movements are not random, but deliberate acts meant to disrupt the harmony of a home. These actions can be seen as a form of spiritual intimidation, aimed at instilling fear and uncertainty in those who experience them. While they may seem like harmless pranks at first glance, their true purpose is far more insidious. These movements often serve as a reminder of an unseen presence attempting to make itself known and assert its influence. The mysterious movement of objects can take various forms. Some may notice small items, such as keys or pens, repeatedly being found in unexpected places. Others may witness more dramatic instances, such as chairs shifting positions, doors opening or closing on their own, or even heavier objects being moved without explanation. These events often occur in areas of the home where spiritual disturbances are strongest, such as bedrooms or spaces where conflict and tension are frequent. Padre Pio taught that these manifestations are a way for malevolent forces to gain attention and create an atmosphere of fear. He reminded his followers that these forces feed on fear and confusion, which is why maintaining a calm and faith-filled response is crucial. Rather than allowing these occurrences to sow doubt, he advised individuals to see them as an opportunity to reaffirm their trust in God's protection and authority. When faced with such phenomena, Padre Pio recommended immediate spiritual action. Prayers of protection, the use of holy water to bless the home, and the invocation of the name of Jesus were all practices he encouraged. He also suggested placing sacred objects, such as crucifixes or medals, in areas where activity was most frequent. These steps not only combat the negative presence, but also help to establish a sense of peace and spiritual security within the home. Padre Pio also advised against engaging with or attempting to investigate these occurrences out of curiosity. He believed that such actions could unintentionally invite further disturbances or give power to the forces behind them. Instead, he stressed the importance of focusing on prayer, spiritual discipline, and maintaining a strong connection with God. By doing so, individuals can overcome the fear and confusion caused by these movements and reclaim their home as a place of peace and divine protection. Another deeply unsettling sign of a potential demonic presence, as described by Padre Pio, is the sudden appearance of strange symbols or inexplicable marks. These can manifest in various ways, such as unusual scratches on walls, mysterious symbols drawn or etched into surfaces, or even marks on the skin that seem to have no logical explanation. Such occurrences are often both shocking and deeply disturbing, as they suggest a deliberate attempt by malevolent forces to leave a tangible trace of their presence. Padre Pio believed that these marks were not mere coincidences, but intentional signs meant to intimidate or instill fear. These symbols or marks often carry a negative or ominous energy, as if they were meant to communicate a message of dominance or disruption. In some cases, the symbols may resemble occult imagery, further reinforcing the sense that the forces behind them are not benign. These manifestations are designed to provoke fear and doubt, two emotions that weaken spiritual defenses and create an opening for further disturbances. The appearance of these marks is often accompanied by a heightened sense of unease in the space where they are found. Many people report feeling a heavy or oppressive atmosphere near the affected area, as though the mark itself radiates a negative energy. This aligns with Padre Pio's teachings that these symbols are not just visual disturbances, but spiritual ones, intended to disrupt the harmony and sanctity of a home or individual. In some cases, these marks can appear on a person's body, often in the form of scratches, bruises, or other unexplained injuries. These occurrences are particularly distressing, as they suggest a direct and personal form of attack. Padre Pio taught that such marks are a way for malevolent forces to instill fear and to make individuals feel vulnerable. He reassured those who experience such phenomena that these marks, while frightening, had no true power over a soul protected by God. To address this kind of manifestation, Padre Pio recommended a multifaceted spiritual response. He emphasized the importance of prayer, particularly prayers of deliverance and protection. He also advised the use of sacramentals, such as holy water and blessed salt, to cleanse the affected space or individual. These practices serve not only to counteract the negative influence of the marks, but also to reinforce the individual's connection to God and his protective power. Padre Pio also encouraged individuals to seek guidance from a priest or spiritual advisor when encountering such phenomena. He believed that the Church, through its sacraments and prayers, has the authority to combat these disturbances effectively. By involving the community of faith, individuals can find both spiritual and emotional support to face these challenges. Ultimately, Padre Pio's teachings remind us that while these marks may seem terrifying, they are merely attempts to disrupt our peace and faith. They are powerless in the face of God's infinite love and protection. By responding to these manifestations with courage, prayer, and trust in God, we can overcome the fear they seek to provoke and restore the sanctity of our homes and lives. Padre Pio's wisdom continues to serve as a beacon of hope and guidance for those facing such spiritual battles. One of the signs that Padre Pio spoke about regarding a possible demonic presence is the unusual behavior of animals. Animals, especially domesticated ones such as dogs, cats, or birds, are believed to possess a heightened sensitivity to the spiritual realm. Their keen senses allow them to detect changes in energy or the presence of entities that are beyond human perception. When animals begin to act in ways that are uncharacteristic or strange, it may indicate the presence of something unseen and possibly malevolent. This unusual behavior can manifest in several ways. A dog, for instance, may bark incessantly at an empty corner of the room, growl at something invisible, or refuse to enter a particular space within the home. Cats, known for their independent nature, might hiss at nothing, stare intensely at seemingly empty areas, or avoid certain rooms altogether. Birds, on the other hand, may become agitated, refuse to sing, or display signs of distress when there is no apparent cause. These reactions are often sudden and can seem entirely out of character for the animal. Padre Pio taught that these behaviors should not be dismissed as mere quirks or coincidences. He believed that animals are naturally attuned to spiritual energies and can sense the presence of both divine and malevolent forces. Their reactions are often a reflection of the energy in the environment, serving as an early warning sign of potential spiritual disturbances. While humans may overlook or rationalize subtle changes in the atmosphere, animals respond instinctively, making their behavior a valuable indicator of spiritual imbalance. The presence of a demonic force, according to Padre Pio, can create an oppressive or chaotic energy that animals find deeply unsettling. Their reactions to this energy are not only instinctive, but also protective, as they attempt to alert their human companions to the danger. In some cases, their agitation can escalate into physical symptoms, such as excessive drooling, trembling, or attempts to escape the area altogether. These reactions are their way of signaling that something is not right. Padre Pio advised that when animals display these unusual behaviors, it is essential to take spiritual action. He recommended praying over the space where the behavior occurs, using holy water to bless the home, and inviting God's presence to restore peace and harmony. He also emphasized the importance of acknowledging the animal's warning rather than dismissing it, as this allows for a proactive response to any spiritual disturbances. While the behavior of animals may seem mysterious or even unsettling, Padre Pio encouraged viewing their actions as a gift rather than a burden. Their sensitivity serves as a reminder of the unseen spiritual battles taking place around us and the importance of maintaining a strong connection with God. By addressing the issue through prayer and faith, individuals can not only restore peace to their homes, but also protect their beloved pets from unnecessary stress and discomfort. Another sign that Padre Pio identified as a potential indication of demonic activity is the unexplained malfunctioning of lights and electronic devices. This phenomenon often includes flickering lights, devices turning on or off by themselves, or sudden failures in equipment that seem to be functioning perfectly well. These occurrences are not merely technical glitches, but are often accompanied by an unsettling atmosphere or a sense of unease that suggests something deeper at play. The flickering of lights is one of the most common manifestations. It may happen sporadically, with no apparent connection to electrical issues, and often coincides with other signs of spiritual disturbance. Devices such as televisions, radios, or phones may start to behave erratically, turning on or off without input, or emitting strange noises. Clocks may stop or reset, and even appliances like microwaves or washing machines may suddenly malfunction. These events create a sense of chaos and disruption, mirroring the destabilizing energy of a demonic presence. Padre Pio explained that these occurrences are often attempts by malevolent forces to disrupt the peace and focus of a household. He believed that the manipulation of lights and electronics is a subtle but effective way to instill fear, confusion, or distraction. These disturbances, while seemingly trivial, can erode the sense of security in a home, making individuals feel vulnerable and on edge. While it can be tempting to dismiss these events as coincidences or technical failures, Padre Pio taught that they should not be ignored, especially if they occur alongside other signs of spiritual disturbance. He urged individuals to remain calm and to respond with prayer rather than fear. Invoking the name of Jesus, reciting the Rosary, or reading passages from the Bible were among the practices he recommended to combat these disturbances and restore a sense of spiritual order. In addition to prayer, Padre Pio suggested practical steps to address these manifestations. Blessing the home with holy water, particularly in the areas where the disturbances occur, can help to cleanse the space of negative energy. Placing a crucifix or other blessed objects near affected devices can also serve as a protective measure. These actions are not only symbolic, but serve as a tangible way to reaffirm God's presence and authority over the home. Padre Pio emphasized that these phenomena, while unsettling, are ultimately powerless in the face of faith and divine protection. He encouraged individuals to view these disturbances not as threats, but as opportunities to strengthen their spiritual lives. By responding with courage and trust in God, it is possible to overcome the fear and confusion that such events are meant to provoke. Ultimately, Padre Pio's teachings remind us that even the most mundane aspects of our lives, such as the functioning of lights and electronics, can become arenas for spiritual battles. Recognizing these disturbances for what they are allows us to address them effectively and to reaffirm the power of God's love and protection. These experiences, while challenging, serve as a testament to the importance of maintaining a vigilant and faith-filled approach to the spiritual challenges we may encounter. One of the most unsettling signs that Padre Pio identified as indicative of a potential demonic presence is the unexplained malfunctioning of lights and electronic devices. This phenomenon is not simply about technical glitches, but often involves patterns of failure that defy logical explanation. Flickering lights, sudden power surges, devices turning on or off by themselves, or equipment malfunctioning without any apparent cause are common examples of this type of disturbance. These occurrences often create a sense of confusion and unease, particularly when they happen in conjunction with other signs of spiritual disruption. Flickering lights are perhaps the most common manifestation. They may begin subtly, occurring only occasionally, but can escalate in frequency and intensity. Electronic devices such as televisions, radios, or smartphones may also behave erratically, turning on or off without input, emitting strange noises, or refusing to function altogether. In some cases, more significant failures may occur, such as household appliances ceasing to work or electrical systems shutting down unexpectedly. These events, while seemingly mundane, can have a profound emotional impact as they disrupt the sense of normalcy and control within the home. Padre Pio believed that these disturbances were not random, but deliberate acts designed to unsettle the inhabitants of a home. He taught that malevolent forces use these subtle but impactful methods to create an atmosphere of fear and confusion. By disrupting the ordinary functioning of household items, they attempt to erode the sense of peace and stability, making individuals more vulnerable to further spiritual attacks. The unpredictability of these occurrences only adds to their disruptive nature, as it becomes difficult to ignore or dismiss them. While it can be tempting to attribute such phenomena to technical issues, Padre Pio encouraged a spiritual perspective. He explained that when these malfunctions occur in tandem with other signs, such as feelings of unease or other unusual phenomena, they may indicate a deeper spiritual imbalance. Rather than reacting with frustration or fear, he advised individuals to respond with prayer and faith. Invoking the name of Jesus, reciting the rosary, or reading scripture are powerful ways to counteract the negative influence and restore peace to the home. In addition to prayer, Padre Pio recommended practical steps to address these disturbances: blessing the affected area with holy water, placing crucifixes or sacred objects near malfunctioning devices, and inviting God's presence into the space can help to dispel negative energy. These actions serve not only to combat the immediate disturbances, but also to create a protective barrier against future disruptions. Padre Pio emphasized that the power of faith and divine protection far outweighs any attempts by malevolent forces to create chaos. Ultimately, these disruptions, while unsettling, are powerless in the face of a strong and unwavering faith. Padre Pio's teachings remind us that such occurrences are an opportunity to deepen our spiritual connection and reaffirm our trust in God. By responding to these disturbances with courage and devotion, we can overcome their intended effects and restore harmony to our homes. Another sign that Padre Pio described as a potential indication of a demonic presence is the unsettling sensation of being watched. This feeling often arises suddenly and inexplicably, creating a deep sense of discomfort or unease. Unlike the comforting sense of being accompanied by a divine presence, this sensation is intrusive and often accompanied by a heavy or oppressive atmosphere. It can occur at any time, but is particularly common during moments of solitude or vulnerability, such as late at night or in isolated spaces within the home. The feeling of being watched is difficult to describe, but unmistakable to those who experience it. It often begins as an inexplicable awareness of something unseen, as though an invisible observer is present. This awareness can quickly escalate into a heightened sense of anxiety or even fear as the individual struggles to understand or rationalize the sensation. In some cases, people report feeling a physical chill or a tingling sensation, as if the presence is not only watching, but also attempting to interact on a deeper level. Padre Pio explained that this sensation is one way in which malevolent forces attempt to intimidate and unsettle individuals. By creating an atmosphere of paranoia and vulnerability, they aim to disrupt the person's emotional and spiritual balance. This feeling of being watched often serves as a precursor to more direct manifestations, such as noises, object movements, or even physical sensations. It is a subtle but effective way to weaken resolve and instill fear. However, Padre Pio also taught that this sensation, like other signs, is ultimately powerless against a strong and faith-filled response. He encouraged individuals to confront these feelings with prayer, calling on God's protection and the intercession of guardian angels. He reminded his followers that fear is the primary tool of malevolent forces, and by refusing to succumb to it, one can diminish their influence significantly. When faced with the feeling of being watched, Padre Pio recommended immediate spiritual action. Praying aloud, particularly prayers of deliverance and protection, can help to dispel the oppressive energy. Using holy water to bless oneself and the space where the sensation occurs is another powerful tool. Additionally, Padre Pio advised maintaining a calm and resolute demeanor, as panic or fear only serves to embolden malevolent forces. Padre Pio also emphasized the importance of creating a spiritually fortified environment. Keeping sacred objects such as crucifixes, blessed metals, or holy water in the home can provide ongoing protection and serve as a reminder of God's presence. Regular prayer, the recitation of the Rosary, and participation in the sacraments are also essential practices for maintaining spiritual strength and resilience. Ultimately, the sensation of being watched is a reminder of the ongoing spiritual battles that take place around us. Padre Pio's teachings encourage us to view these experiences not as causes for alarm, but as opportunities to deepen our faith and reliance on God. By responding with prayer, courage, and trust in divine protection, we can overcome the fear and discomfort that these sensations are designed to provoke. Padre Pio's wisdom reminds us that no matter how unsettling these experiences may be, the light of God is always stronger than the darkness. Padre Pio emphasized that one of the more subtle yet impactful signs of a demonic presence can be unexplained changes in physical or emotional health. These changes often appear suddenly, without any clear medical or psychological explanation. Unlike typical illnesses or emotional challenges, these manifestations carry a distinct sense of heaviness or despair, leaving individuals feeling drained, anxious, or even hopeless. These symptoms may resist conventional treatments and often worsen in specific environments or during certain times, such as when a person is alone or engaged in spiritual practices. Physical symptoms can range from persistent fatigue to more alarming issues such as chronic pain, headaches, or even unexplained bruises and scratches. These ailments often come without any discernible cause and seem immune to traditional remedies or treatments. For example, a person might experience severe pain or discomfort in specific areas of their body, only for the symptoms to vanish inexplicably when they leave a particular space. This type of phenomenon suggests that the issue may not be rooted in the physical realm, but in a spiritual disturbance. On an emotional level, individuals may experience overwhelming sadness, irritability, or sudden bouts of fear and paranoia. These emotional states often feel unnatural, as if imposed from an external source, rather than arising from personal struggles or circumstances. Padre Pio explained that such feelings are attempts by malevolent forces to weaken a person's spirit and disrupt their peace of mind. These emotional disturbances are not just random occurrences, but deliberate tactics designed to create disconnection, doubt, and spiritual vulnerability. Padre Pio taught that these changes in physical and emotional health are not meant to be faced with fear, but with faith and discernment. Recognizing these symptoms as potentially spiritual in origin is the first step toward addressing them effectively. He encouraged individuals to turn to prayer and to seek divine protection as a way to combat these manifestations. Praying the rosary, receiving the sacraments, and inviting God's presence into one's daily life are essential practices for reclaiming peace and healing. Additionally, Padre Pio recommended using sacramentals such as holy water or blessed salt to cleanse one's living space. These acts not only dispel negative energy, but also serve as reminders of the power of God's protection. For physical symptoms that appear inexplicable, he advised seeking spiritual guidance from a trusted priest or confessor who could provide insight and support. This combination of prayer, sacramental practices, and spiritual counsel creates a holistic approach to addressing these disturbances. Padre Pio reminded his followers that while these manifestations may seem overwhelming, they are ultimately powerless against the strength of faith. By remaining steadfast in their trust in God, individuals can overcome even the most challenging symptoms, finding both physical and emotional healing. These experiences, while difficult, serve as opportunities to deepen one's spiritual life and to reaffirm the presence of God's love and protection. Another sign that Padre Pio highlighted as indicative of a demonic presence is the occurrence of negative synchronicities. These are not mere coincidences, but patterns of seemingly unrelated events that align in a way that creates disruption, fear, or confusion. Unlike positive synchronicities, which bring a sense of guidance or purpose, negative synchronicities often leave individuals feeling unsettled, as though they are caught in a series of orchestrated misfortunes. These patterns are designed to challenge faith and create a sense of spiritual imbalance. Negative synchronicities can take many forms. A person might experience a series of unfortunate events that seem to build upon one another, such as constant financial setbacks, repeated conflicts with loved ones, or unexpected accidents. These events often occur in rapid succession, leaving little time to recover or make sense of what is happening. Alternatively, individuals may notice recurring symbols or numbers that feel ominous rather than comforting, such as seeing the same troubling image or phrase in multiple places within a short period of time. Padre Pio believed that these synchronicities are a deliberate attempt by malevolent forces to create a sense of chaos and disconnection. By aligning events in a way that feels beyond mere chance, these forces aim to instill doubt in God's plan and provoke fear or frustration. The ultimate goal of these synchronicities is to erode trust and to pull individuals away from their spiritual center. When faced with negative synchronicities, Padre Pio encouraged a response rooted in faith and prayer. He taught that these patterns, while unsettling, have no power over those who place their trust in God. He advised individuals to seek clarity and protection through prayer, particularly prayers of deliverance and intercession. By turning to God, individuals can find reassurance and guidance, breaking the cycle of negativity and restoring peace to their lives. In addition to prayer, Padre Pio recommended taking steps to fortify one's spiritual environment. This includes blessing the home with holy water, displaying sacred objects such as crucifixes or religious icons, and maintaining a regular practice of spiritual discipline. These actions help to create a protective barrier that shields against further disturbances and reinforces a sense of divine presence. Padre Pio also emphasized the importance of interpreting these synchronicities as opportunities for spiritual growth rather than as threats. He encouraged individuals to reflect on the meaning behind these patterns and to use them as a way to deepen their trust in God. By viewing these experiences as part of a larger spiritual journey, individuals can transform fear and confusion into resilience and faith. Ultimately, Padre Pio's teachings remind us that even in the face of negative synchronicities, we are not alone. God's presence is always with us, offering guidance and protection in the midst of life's challenges. By responding to these patterns with prayer, courage, and a steadfast belief in God's plan, we can overcome the disruptions they seek to create and emerge stronger in our faith. These experiences, while difficult, serve as powerful reminders of the importance of maintaining a strong spiritual foundation and trusting in the unwavering power of God's love. Protection against spiritual disturbances requires a balance of faith, prayer, and practical actions that help restore harmony and peace to the home and the individual. Padre Pio, known for his deep spiritual insight and unwavering faith, offered valuable guidance on how to protect oneself from negative influences and build a spiritually fortified life. His teachings emphasize that while malevolent forces may attempt to disrupt our lives, they are ultimately powerless against the strength of divine protection. Through intentional practices, both spiritual and practical, individuals can safeguard their well-being and maintain a sense of peace even in challenging circumstances. The foundation of spiritual protection begins with prayer. Padre Pio often taught that prayer is the most powerful tool against any form of spiritual disturbance. Prayer strengthens the connection between the individual and God, creating a shield of divine protection. He emphasized the importance of praying the Rosary daily, calling it a spiritual weapon capable of warding off negative forces. The repetitive and meditative nature of the Rosary not only brings peace to the mind, but also invites God's grace into the individual's life. By dedicating time each day to prayer, one creates a spiritual barrier that discourages negative entities from interfering. Another key element of protection is the use of sacramentals. Padre Pio encouraged the use of holy water, blessed salt, and religious objects such as crucifixes and medals. These items are not mere symbols, but tangible representations of God's presence and authority. Holy water can be sprinkled around the home, especially in areas where disturbances are felt most strongly, as a way of cleansing and sanctifying the space. Similarly, blessed salt can be placed in the corners of rooms or near doorways to serve as a protective barrier. Crucifixes and medals, when placed in prominent areas or carried on one's person, serve as constant reminders of faith and divine protection. Padre Pio also emphasized the importance of creating a spiritually harmonious environment. The home should be a place of peace and refuge, free from influences that might invite negativity. He recommended removing items that could serve as entry points for negative forces, such as objects associated with occult practices or entertainment that glorifies violence or immorality. Instead, he suggested filling the home with sacred images, religious art, and other items that inspire faith and devotion. This not only fosters a positive atmosphere, but also reinforces the spiritual foundation of the household. Maintaining regular participation in the sacraments is another essential aspect of spiritual protection. Padre Pio stressed the importance of frequent confession and the reception of the Eucharist. Confession helps cleanse the soul of sin, closing any spiritual gaps that malevolent forces might exploit. The Eucharist, on the other hand, serves as a source of spiritual nourishment and strength, fortifying the individual against spiritual attacks. By engaging in these practices regularly, one remains connected to the Church and to the grace that flows from God. In addition to spiritual practices, Padre Pio offered practical advice for addressing disturbances. He taught that fear is one of the most effective tools used by negative entities to gain influence. By inducing fear, they seek to weaken the individual's faith and create an opening for further disruption. Padre Pio counseled his followers to confront fear with courage and trust in God. He often reminded them that no force of darkness can prevail against the light of God. By maintaining a calm and composed demeanor, even in the face of unsettling experiences, one diminishes the power of negative forces and reinforces their own spiritual strength. Another practical tip is to stay vigilant and discerning. Padre Pio taught that malevolent forces often work subtly, disguising their influence as mere coincidences or minor inconveniences. By staying spiritually aware and attuned to one's environment, it becomes easier to recognize when something is out of balance. This awareness allows individuals to take action quickly, addressing disturbances through prayer and other protective measures before they escalate. Padre Pio also emphasized the role of community in spiritual protection. He encouraged seeking support from priests, spiritual advisors, and fellow believers when facing challenges. The prayers and guidance of others can be a source of immense strength, providing reassurance and additional layers of protection. He reminded his followers that they are never alone in their struggles. The Church, as a community of faith, is always there to offer assistance and support. Another important piece of advice from Padre Pio is to cultivate a daily habit of gratitude and trust in God. Gratitude shifts focus away from fear and negativity, redirecting it toward the blessings and goodness present in life. Trust in God provides a foundation of hope and resilience even in the midst of difficulties. Padre Pio taught that by acknowledging God's sovereignty and trusting in His plan, individuals can face any challenge with confidence and peace. Lastly, Padre Pio stressed the importance of perseverance. Spiritual battles are not always resolved quickly, and it is essential to remain steadfast in faith and practice. Even when disturbances persist, continuing to pray, participate in the sacraments, and seek God's guidance will eventually lead to resolution and peace. Padre Pio reminded his followers that patience and persistence are virtues that strengthen the soul and draw one closer to God. In summary, the protection against spiritual disturbances involves a combination of faith-filled practices, the use of sacramentals, and intentional efforts to create a harmonious environment. Padre Pio's teachings provide a roadmap for navigating these challenges with courage and trust in God. Through prayer, the sacraments, and the support of a faith community, individuals can overcome fear, repel negativity, and maintain a sense of peace and spiritual balance. By following these steps and remaining steadfast in faith, one can transform moments of trial into opportunities for growth and deepen their connection with the divine. Padre Pio's wisdom serves as a timeless guide for anyone seeking to strengthen their spiritual defenses and live a life rooted in God's love and protection. In the face of spiritual challenges and the unsettling signs of darkness, Padre Pio's teachings remind us that light always triumphs over darkness. The presence of negative forces, while alarming, serves as a profound reminder of the constant spiritual battle around us. It also highlights the power and grace of God, who equips us with the tools and strength needed to overcome any adversary. These moments, though difficult, can lead us to deeper faith, greater trust, and a more profound relationship with the divine. Spiritual disturbances are not just random occurrences, but opportunities to reaffirm our commitment to God. They challenge us to strengthen our defenses, to seek refuge in prayer, and to lean into the unwavering love and protection of the Creator. Padre Pio often taught that fear is the primary weapon of the enemy, but faith and courage are the shields that render such attacks powerless. Through faith, even the most terrifying experiences can be transformed into moments of grace and spiritual growth. The key to finding light in the midst of darkness is to remember that we are never alone. God's presence is constant, offering guidance and strength through every trial. The sacraments, prayers, and sacramentals that Padre Pio emphasized are not only practical tools, but reminders of this divine companionship. They help to ground us, dispel fear, and restore peace. Each moment of doubt, each shadow that looms, becomes an opportunity to turn our hearts back to the light of God's love. The darkness may seek to disrupt, but it can never extinguish the light. By trusting in God, embracing faith, and following the spiritual guidance offered by figures like Padre Pio, we can emerge stronger, more resilient, and closer to the divine. The trials we face are temporary, but the love and protection of God are eternal. Let this be a reminder to hold on to hope, knowing that light will always guide us through even the darkest of moments. As you reflect on the teachings of Padre Pio and the signs discussed, consider this a personal invitation to take action. Spiritual protection is not a passive endeavor, but a commitment to actively nurture your relationship with God and create a sacred space around you. Whether you have experienced signs of spiritual disturbance or not, the steps to strengthen your spiritual defenses are vital for everyone seeking peace, clarity, and divine connection in their lives. Start by incorporating prayer into your daily routine. Dedicate time each day to connect with God, whether through the rosary, personal prayers, or moments of silent reflection. Let prayer be your first response to fear, doubt, or uncertainty, and trust in its transformative power. Surround yourself with reminders of faith, such as crucifixes, medals, and holy water, using these sacred tools as tangible symbols of God's presence in your life. Evaluate your environment and remove anything that may invite negativity or disrupt the harmony of your home. Replace these with objects and practices that reflect your faith and devotion. Take time to bless your home, inviting God's light and grace into every corner. Remember that spiritual protection also involves taking care of your physical and emotional well-being. Stay connected to the sacraments, attend Mass regularly, and seek the guidance of your spiritual community. Most importantly, do not face these challenges alone. Share your experiences, seek support from trusted friends or spiritual advisors, and lean into the strength of your faith community. Padre Pio's teachings remind us that spiritual battles are not meant to be fought in isolation. We are part of a greater whole, connected by our shared faith and the love of God. Let this be the moment to reclaim peace in your life. Stand firm in your faith, take proactive steps to fortify your spiritual defenses, and trust in the boundless protection of God. With each action you take, no matter how small, you invite light into your life and strengthen your connection to the divine. The path to peace begins with a single step, and that step is yours to take today.